Good evening, Red. Would you believe it's Dr. Doom?
What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mark my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really Iron Man, Mr. Stark?
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles. I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can also find me at News Nurse Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can also find me at CBCaps on Instagram.
South Carolina with Columbia down the way.
And the sound effects you've heard come from none other than a man in Brooklyn, one agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky.
What's up, everybody? Co-hosting from the Borough of Kings.
Brooklyn!
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Which is kind of funny. I heard that Just a Kid from Brooklyn soundbite in a video I was watching earlier today, and I thought about you. So that was funny. But yeah, this is the Comic Book Chronicles, and you can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us.
Do it today.
You can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Apple iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show. So leave a positive 5-star review, please.
Indeed. And folks, we got a good one tonight. I like to believe we have a good one every week, but hey, you know, hopefully, knocking on wood on not a repeat from last week. So I don't want to do any more editing than I had to do last week.
Yeah, not that it was bad, not that it was a bad show, but
Right.
you know, when things are, you know, happening and, you know, behind the scenes and whatnot, it gets a little hectic.
Right. Things you can't control right off the bat just kind of happen, and it's like, oh, okay, well, great. Thanks for giving me more work. Appreciate it. But with that, we actually are going to start off with, hey there, the finale, the final 2 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which are entitled, excuse me, Hero or Menace, which is episode 9, and If This Be My Destiny, which is episode 10.
Yeah, and obviously these are titles that have meanings in the comics. These are titles from previous stories and or story arcs. So, you know, these are very central to the theme, you know, at least to the early theme of Peter Parker becoming Spider-Man. And Hero or Menace, come on. You know, we haven't seen J. Jonah yet really in this, but you know he's not far.
Indeed. Well, we would hope that's the case, because I'm actually kind of shocked that we have not seen nor heard of J. Jonah yet.
Right. Well, I mean, if you think about it, this is very much MCU adjacent. And there are a few reasons, you know, what we're going to talk about as we talk about these 2 episodes. We can kind of talk about them together. You know, we're not going to break it down per episode because this did just come out yesterday as of the time of this recording, the date and time of this recording. So we're not going to spoil everything too badly, but we're speaking about these episodes as a whole. And as I said, the series is definitely MCU adjacent, and there are directions that they take in this show overall that reflect that. Everything from tying into events in the MCU to guest stars, but most definitely sticking to a theme that I know I've talked about before, and we even got a little bit of a hint of a theme here in this no, not in this episode, in the next episode, the last episode, that there's definitely a what if nature to the storytelling here.
Right.
Right. So there are several ways that this series kind of weaves itself into and around the events of the MCU timeline and the MCU continuity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That big old parallelogram that is the
Right.
show.
Right. So at least with episode 9, we get a nice little interaction between Peter and Lonnie Lincoln, as we get a little bit of origin story here. You know, a continuing origin story here of not Spidey per se, but definitely of the character that Lonnie Lincoln is meant to evolve into.
Right, the continuing arc.
And exactly, and we get a rematch with this version of the Scorpion, who's pretty formidable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do love we got it's not a fastball special, but a medium ball special.
Yeah.
Kind of a slow ball special, given the two involved, but still, I love the I love the reference, if that was intentional, but I'm sure it was.
Absolutely. And in this episode, we also get a nice little, I guess, meeting of the minds, as it were, with Nico and Peter, where they kind of, hash things out during and then after the big scene with the 1/10 and the Scorpion and the Scorpions, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, but also, as things tend to happen, even in that situation, leads to, you hash out one thing, but it still leads to another, as things tend to do in these situations, another set of secrets that hasn't, or at least another set of secret that has not come to light with all the characters yet. Right. So.
And in a small non-spoilery thing that I laughed at, I giggled at, it was the last person you expect to come through in the group project actually saved the day.
Right. Which I feel like there's a MCU nod in there somewhere with that. Like, I feel like that's a like a Zendaya MJ type. Like, oh wait, she can talk, and then she just happens to say that it's not that, but I'm just saying it is along those levels.
Right. It's definitely someone who contributes and saves the group project in an unexpected way. Right.
Even people were like, wait, what? And so that was pretty cool. Oh, the one thing we forgot to mention from the last time, which I want to make sure to bring up this time, is that someone decided to co-opt and rearrange, or co-opt and change some famous, a famous bit of wording from a character that's not here in this universe either, much less any other universe.
Right, yes. Or yet, right.
Well, no. He's talked about. He's talked about, but he's, I think, as far as we know, he's actually in the place he normally is in comic continuity. Yeah. But someone else decided to co-opt some words that he would normally give and change them to their benefit.
Yeah. Or to definitely change the meaning of them.
Right.
Definitely change the meaning of them. With regards to episode 10, right, we get some parallels to stuff that also happens in the MCU, some Avengers / some Thor even.
Sure.
We get some science / magic, as it were.
Definitely call back to the first episode and what happened then.
Oh, I was about to say, more than just a callback. It's all it's all very
cyclical.
It's cyclical. It's in
a way,
it's very much a time travel. Without without completely spoiling it, you see how one thing begets another.
Mm-hmm. Which part of me thought, wait, are they going to actually change what happened, or are they just basically showing us what's going on? And it turned out it was the one where you kind of expect. I'm like, okay, but they could have done something, but it would have taken the show in a whole new direction, and definitely left an interesting cliffhanger if it had gone that way.
Right.
But yeah, so there's like, okay, so here's how that happened, and then, but also leaves us something else because what the last episode ends up doing is basically setting up, hopefully, what is going to be coming up in the next season or 2 or 3, how many ever, depending on when and or if they get a new season, which I feel like I was talking before the show to Agent 7, it was like I feel like they kind of have to do a season 2. Like I feel like it's pretty much in the pocket, but nothing is ever assured in this situation. So,
I get a kick out of all of these things. Let's see here. There's a lot of setup. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of setup at the end of episode 10 going into what's hopefully going to be a season 2. Mm-hmm. And there's also a lot of tie-ins with real life, because or at least marketing stuff, because one of the things that they set up is that there's something I think named after an attraction that's part of a Spider-Man adventure ride in the Disney California Adventure Park.
Oh, not just that, but a book from last year that absolutely took what
right.
they set up here.
Right.
Yes, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was gonna mention that with actually a couple of the same characters that are in that book. Now that I think about it, maybe, or at least one, I should say, not the rest of it, but yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, they set up some stuff, and I was like, okay, so let's hope we get to see it. That's the main thing about it. Like, sitting here setting up all of this, and we don't get to see it. That's gonna be some really upsetting stuff. So, but like I said, I'm actually kind of surprised because the show came out Wednesday, and there have been times in the past with certain shows it's like, okay, no, by the time the show ends, whether that's going to be the case. And I am seeing a thing that's possibly saying that, but I don't trust the source. So, and even the source is good for many things, I can't say that I trust one part of it for that being the case, and it's the only place that shows up for it. So yeah, we'll wait and see. That's all I'm saying. But to kind of round out the discussion of this, I guess it's worth asking. So, how do you feel about the season as a whole?
I thought it was good. It's a very retro modern flair. Mm-hmm. And it's stylized that way. It's very retro modern, mm-hmm. where obviously there are modern touches like cell phones and teenage, some of the slang and whatnot. It's definitely modern, but it's also very retro, where they reflect influences from a lot of the older Spider-Man cartoons. Mm-hmm. A lot of there's a lot of references and influences that are clearly taken from the '66 animated series, and not just musically, but even animation wise and just art wise, it's just styled that way.
Right. Yeah, they haven't taken to the '90s era inner monologue. Well, actually, in some ways, but not as heavy as the '90s version was.
Right. Right. I'm trying to think, there's definitely, there's a lot here. Oh, I've talked before about how there are some parallels to Spectacular Spider-Man with, the characters that they choose to emphasize, everything from Octavius to Tombstone, just going and, utilizing several characters that they have, let's just say, better access to, because they don't necessarily have like other features in the MCU. But it's all very, I think it's all very good. I think it's all very well done.
Actually, speaking of Octavius, there was an interaction in episode 9 between him and another character, which I feel like is going to come back and bite the other character squarely in the buttocks.
Oh yeah, of course.
In fact, in a partially way, kind of did, but in a more major way, if they go with that character the way that we believe they would.
Right, kind of the classic way.
Right. So that whole interaction was kind of made me giggle. I was like, man, you're probably gonna regret that at some later date if things happen the way they might.
Listen. Right, we got in episode 10, there's a couple things that happen, without us completely spoiling things, right? Is that we get kind of the culmination of what the big plan here is, what Norman was really planning after all the, after all of this kind of science related stuff. And we also get further steps towards, there are lots of teases for what may come up. And, I think at least one of them was unexpected. Roddykat and I were talking about this without completely spoiling everything here on the show live. I would say that one of the teases went in a very different direction than we thought. Very different.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely wasn't expecting that to even show up in a situation like this. So I was like, okay.
Right.
So that opens up a whole lot of questions.
Yeah. Yeah, because I honestly remember when I was watching it, like saying out loud, like swearing out loud. I was like, what? When did this happen? When did this storyline come up?
Right. We knew the character came up at some point during the course of Spidey's comics, but yeah, not like this. So that is definitely a thing that bears some investigation. That's going to probably bear some investigation, in the new season and whatnot. Oh, and also you might as well go ahead and mention the thing that you mentioned before the show about another entity popping up.
Oh yeah. Before we go. I talked about this before. I've talked about this before, and let's just say this entity pops up when certain types of stories are being told. Right? Speaking of other Marvel animation, right? That's being done on Disney Plus.
Right.
That's this particular entity is known for sticking his nose sometimes where it shouldn't be, and he does make an appearance, or at least a silhouette makes an appearance. And again, what I told Roddykat when in the lead up to the show and in pre-production and all that was I did the Leo meme, where I sat up and I pointed at the screen.
Yes.
Absolutely did it. I absolutely did it without even realizing it. I was like, oh!
Right. Oh, I was about to say, and not the first time, not the last time this week that same character shows up in a thing this week. So that is doubly funny. And probably intentional, but who's to say how that was going to turn out, or the time of it was going to turn out. So Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man's this first season is some good time. I told myself, and I didn't tell Agent 70 this, like when we watched the first, or maybe I did, I can't remember, but when we watched the first couple of episodes, I was actually going to go back and watch those episodes again because I thought they were really a good start. And now I can see myself just going back and watching the whole season over again for that same reason.
It's not that long,
right? So nicely packed. Even though, like I said, I still miss the days where we would get like actual seasons and not this 10-episode business. But these are different times, so ain't no use in rehashing that over again.
right?
But yeah, for what they put in here, with the way they put them out, hey, you know what? Good stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to whatever next season happens. Hopefully, like I said, I feel like it is all but confirmed that it's going to happen. But like I said, you never can tell in situations. So, that being said, though, we can push on to the next thing, which is, I wish I had the soundbite for this, Invincible, season 3, episode 5, which is, this was supposed to be easy.
I'm trying to think of how best. So one of the things that Roddykat was afraid that they were going towards actually happens.
Yeah.
Between Rex and what's the character's name? Shrinking Violet?
Shrinking Ray.
Or Shrinking Ray.
Yes.
Gotcha. So, it's not completely there, but it's moving in that direction. We'll put it that way.
Right. The moves were there, and you might as well just go ahead and say, yep, it's a thing. To which we don't know. Again, neither one of us read the comics, so we don't know if that was a thing from the comics. So, and if it is, cool. If it's not, oh well, Right. And I think the main focus of the episode, there are often multiple storylines that are addressed each episode. This episode really only dealt with a few of them, but dealt with some of the more localized or street level stuff that Invincible deals with, but then it turns into something that's very not street level. Right. And we haven't seen since, I want to say, first season, actually.
Has it been that long?
I think so, because I don't remember if they addressed any of that in season 2. It's been a while. So,
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's definitely a sense of time having passed because that's part of the ongoing story.
Mm-hmm.
That they weave into it, because we're also kind of meant to barely remember it the same way Mark Greason barely remembers certain things about a certain locale and about his dealings with a certain character. So,
right. And given how much time had actually passed from season 2 to season 3, much less season 1 to season 3,
you mean real
time
to
do, right? Very, very easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an interesting choice to make, but at the same time, it serves the purpose. Of course, we get a little bit more on Mark and Eve's relationship in this, which, like I said, one of the big points of this issue, and whatever venture comes out of that at some point. Which, right. Again, I'm not sure. I think that part, or that part might have actually come up from the comics. The relationship definitely, but I mean, something that happens that they end up doing together. I think that might be something that was actually. Let's see if I'm sure if Von Gloom was here, he could confirm whether that was the case at the very least. So, right. But it was a good episode as Invincible has been. Kind of a up until a certain thing happens, kind of a low key episode. Because sure. It's kind of starts out on level and then kind of again as the show tends to do, kind of ramps up near the end because of things happening. and then it just kind of cools back down and leads to a place where I guess we'll probably see more of, maybe not this season, but at some point down the line, you know, if they continue to do it that way. Because like I said, with this, as far as I remember, that whole situation that happened near the end was like a season 1 thing, or even during the course of the whole episode was like a season 1 thing. So, and if that was the case, then yeah, I can't see them addressing that again, unless maybe they are. I don't know. We still got what, 4 more? It's gonna be 3 more episodes this season. Actually, yes, that is the case. I believe
so.
Mm-hmm. So, and I guess the only thing that needs to get tied up there is the other part that, you know, what's going on out in space. So, and I'm sure we will be getting stuff about that sooner rather than later as it's, you know, because we are nearing the end of the season, and usually it's just like, okay, we're going to get to the big thing of the season around this time. So I'm sure that might be the case. But yeah,
that's usually how it works.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's Invincible, folks. Like I said, there's really nothing, because that episode came out today, and even if it honestly hadn't, we don't want to spoil it for anybody. So, but yeah, check it out whenever you get the chance to, because if you're checking out that show. And with that, excuse me, we are going to get to, why did I not do this ahead of time? We're going to get to the books of the week. Starting off with G.I. Joe number 4.
Let's see. I've got a sound drop in here for G.I. Joe other than Roadblock. Let's see here. Do I have one? I'm trying to think if I have one.
Like Flint, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's kind of sad.
Because it was,
I think you know, I mean,
and knowing is half the battle.
There you go.
That's what that looks like. Everything I have right now, that's kind of sad.
Well, you know what? It's okay. You got time to bulk that up.
Yeah, kind of sad. All right. I'm gonna scroll very quickly to G.I. Joe number 4. It's written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley. Colors are by Jordi Belair, and letters are by Russ Wooton. So the Joe team, or at least a good portion of the Joe team, as they stand right now, are on the run, and something unexpected happens. Right?
Right.
The other like active members of the Joe team kind of end up falling into a similar situation. And let's see here. Well, oh, that's right. There's not much, it's a very there's a very tight focus in on the Joe team right now. They haven't really expanded into the Joe team that we knew and loved as kids. Rather, we have this very small group of Joes, and they basically, all but one of them find themselves in a certain predicament, probably with one of their own in the group surrounding them. And that's the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger is apparently right where G.I. Joe wants them.
Yes, I made note of that myself. Yes, specifically Duke. It was like, basically it was like, yep, we got them right where they want us.
Right. Now, again, I'm just like, so we getting Snake Eyes anytime soon? I said it.
What episode, what issue did we get Storm Shadow? What was it 21?
21, 22, something like that?
I would be shocked if they did something like that with Snake Eyes. Like, granted, that's a ways away, comic book wise,
right?
But still, that would be a thing I could probably see them doing. Will they? Don't know. We'll see. You know, like I said, it is kind of weird how they're handling that part. But
Right.
you know, I'm like this. I like Snake Eyes as much as the next person, but at the same time, one, we got these groups, we got this small group that we're still kind of getting to know, not even getting to know, but kind of getting to gel as a group. And classically, is at least the animated form, the Joe team had kept kind of small. Well, at least starting off, I should say, like it built up the animated, the comic book series, the cartoon series kind of built up people after a while. But in the beginning, there was like a handful of Joes that they would just kind of follow around. And even later on they would, but still you could see like the other people, or they would switch people every now and then, you know, or switch teams up as going forward. So right now, this is what we got. And I'm sure at some point they'll add everybody but Shipwreck, hopefully. I mean, he's not the worst. That
shots fired!
I'm just saying. Like, we haven't seen a Flint or Lady J. They haven't. They still haven't really reconciled what's going on with Scarlet, which I feel like still that could be another book that they're going to do that again, and maybe that might be the book where Snake Eyes comes in. Who's to say? But there hasn't been anything on that at all. So with this group who is barely getting off the ground and people barely know it publicly, if you read, you know that there is some plans there's some plans laid out for another team to be established that this team doesn't know about. So at some point, I assume once they get this all kind of stable, maybe that's when they'll put that into action.
Maybe.
But so we'll see. But yeah, so we get a little chase about we get a little bit more action with the Crimson Twins. As Agent 70 said, an unexpected thing happens. If you think about this in classic comic book, cartoon senses, this is the third episode of the 5-part series where Cobra pretty much gets everything they need.
Right. It looks like they've got the upper hand.
Right. And clearly something's going to happen to where that's going to change. And, you know, even down to, I even said it in my notes, like that whole brainwave scanner thing that is that they're going after is pretty much the mass device. Or the broadcast energy transmitter, or that other thing that I can't remember right now that from that second 5-parter. So, you know, this is it. If I feel like that's probably an intentional thing, I could be wrong. You would have to ask Joshua Williamson if that's the case, and or Kirkman or whoever else is dealing with this part of the Energon universe.
Right.
But
I want to say the brainwave scanner was part of Hama's run.
Yes, it was definitely a Marvel, the G.I. Joe thing with that dude. So yes, which, like I said, I keep saying I want to go back and read that stuff, but stuff's kind of dense, especially the way Hama wrote them back then.
There's a lot. Listen, there's a lot to that series. You know, it wasn't the lightest fare.
Right.
It really wasn't. You know, because there was so much, characterization story because they wanted to sell toys.
Right. And apparently still isn't, but is because the last couple of times I looked in on Real American Hero, which Hama is still writing, it still can be here and there a little dense. So, which is not bad. This is stuff, we loved when we were kids. But, but it's also gotten a little bit more bonkers from what I saw from the runs. So it's kind of funny. But hey, I hope Larry Hama goes long as strong as he wishes to. That's all I can say.
Yep.
That is probably the longest series to date from almost anything. I'm probably wrong about that. With the original writer at that. Put it that way.
Right.
So, but that being said, Jet Joe number 4 is cool. We got some stuff in place to kind of round out whatever is about to happen in the arc. Destro's kind of on a mission was initially on a mission because of a thing that happened last issue that happened with Cobra Commander, or with something Cobra Commander did, and what secrets the commander is holding back from his allies. So, which I'm sure will come into play once somebody comes from space. Probably not, or probably have somebody else dealing with that. I don't know. You got some Cobra Law folks in space. That's all I can say in another book. We know Cobra Law is still around, and if you know the history, then it's gonna come back up in this book at some point, surely. That being said, next book we are going to talk about is oh crap, what happened? Doom Academy number 1 of 5.
Doom Academy number 1 of 5 is written by Mackenzie Cadenhead with art by Pasquale Ferry, colors by Edgar Delgado, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. So one of the funniest parts about this book is that it's like the logical continuation of Strange Academy. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a logical continuation because knowing the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme has passed on from one character to another, it almost, I say this like almost completely tongue in cheek, almost makes sense.
Yes.
That the parents who signed off on their kids attending Strange Academy would in fact then sign off on their kids going to Doom Academy.
Right.
They even make jokes about it, like knowing jokes about how the kids that are attending Doom Academy are there because their parents, signed off on it, and the kids who were likely who we might remember at Strange Academy but did not sign up to attend Doom Academy were probably held behind by their parents to see if anything would happen to the kids that actually go.
Right. And for the most part, the majority of the kids from Strange Academy are back here. There's probably there's like 1, maybe 2 that are not from the
Right.
main group. Also within obvious reasons, because of the one that they mentioned in the book as being a rogue figure.
Right. And what's funny is that it's not just the students, but also their teachers and and some of the adult characters that were connected to Strange Academy find their way to Doom Academy also, partially to keep their eyes on Vic, as it were, and partially to safeguard these children.
Right.
And we get the introduction of a couple of new characters as the Strange Academy kids are moving into their dorm, and I think one of the best recurring bits in the issue, right? And I really like this issue. It's definitely a candidate for Click of the Week for me, because the Pasquale Ferry art in this book is killer, absolutely killer. There's an ongoing bit where the kids are in rooms where there are paintings of Doom, and it looks like Doom. It looks like the paintings are
right,
like the eyes are following what's going on, and it's a great recurring bit.
Right, because it's Doom. They are.
Of course they are. Of course they are. It's hysterical.
Right. What was I going to say? So yeah, and one of the kids, who was the one narrating. So wait, so basically all they did, because I think they even spelled it out here, is like, okay, Doom basically took over Strange Academy. So this is not a new setup thing. And he even says in here, it was like, yeah, I'm your new headmaster for the semester, whatever the case may be. Which obviously, one world under Doom is probably going to not last the whole actual year. So, this is a clear indication of, Strange Academy is probably going to go back to the way it was. after this whole thing is situated. But the fact that Doom was like, nope, I'm taking over the academy and moving it here, is kind of amusing. And everything like Agent 70 just said, that happened in relation to that is the whole thing. But as we tend to find themselves, because the kids, or at least one or two in particular, can't seem to not find trouble, even though they mentioned early in the issue, like, yeah, so here we haven't had so far X, Y, and Z things happen to us, during the course of the school year, and now they're about to get into some other stuff where they're actually going to get into some issues.
Of course.
So. Because they can't help themselves, Different headmaster,
under the watchful eyes of Dr. Victor Von Doom.
Right. So basically, different locations, same shit.
Pretty much.
But yeah, this is a good. It's a good. We always enjoy seeing the Strange Academy / Doom Academy kids, running around, still doing stuff. So it's always great to see. And of course, Zelma's love of books is unbound. So she was like, yeah, I get what y'all are saying, but hey, check out the library. So you got to love that for her. But that, folks, is it for this book. Next up is, I guess we're going slightly into some Spider Corner, but we're kind of staggered with Amazing Spider-Man number 68.
Wait, there's a funny story mechanic here where they have instituted they're joining up with a school paper.
Oh,
as it
yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
And,
yes.
And at the back of the book is like the front, like the headlines of the school paper, and it's worth a read. It's pretty funny.
Right.
There's an anti-read society at the Doom Academy where it's not only the buffoon Richards. In the anti-read society, we like to combat the use of the word "read" wherever possible.
Right. But also, one of the characters that get introduced in this book, which I guess reintroduced technically, because I guess it seems like from what they were saying, this character has been in the Fantastic Four previously.
Right. I didn't recognize the character right away, so I needed the help.
Right. Yeah. But that being said, the character looked suspiciously like the headmaster in younger days. So me thinking, wait, is this like a clone? But I don't remember if he actually did that again. Either cloned himself, to have an actual kid, because that's something Doom has done. or would have done. He would have brainwashed somebody, one of the two. But this kid was like, wait, is that just a young Victor who is the head of the paper? Because even when they were talking about, oh yeah, my dad's the editor, I'm like, is your dad Doom? Because that would make total sense in this situation, especially with the way that the kid looks. So that whole part right there was quite amusing, quite amusing. All right, so Amazing Spider-Man number 68.
Oh my God. So there's even a joke about the fitness club. Orange is not a strong color. We believe in green theories of fitness. God.
Indeed.
We're
gonna.
What's next? Like President Bartlett said.
Just stand there and you're. What's next?
There you go.
Well, like I've been saying, Amazing Spider-Man number 68. We got it.
Oh. Amazing Spider-Man number 68 is written by Justina Ireland with pencils by Andrea Broccardo, inks by Scott Hanna, colors by Marcio Meniz, and letters by our favorite lettering paisan, the hardest working letterer over at Virtual Calligraphy, VC's Joe Caramagna. So we finally get a little bit of Spidey action, snapping out of the doldrums that he's been in, kind of figuring out, things have gone bad, and he has to make a move that really cuts his options down, as it were, when it comes to this whole champions challenge with the scions of Sidorak, and things go from bad to worse as the story goes on. But it seems like one of the scions is having a little bit of a change of heart, and it's prompted by one of the other scions kind of losing his hold on reality.
Kind of Breaking Bad-er, as it were.
Yeah. Kind of bringing about what Doctor Strange had always been warning about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much where we are at the end of the issue.
Yeah. In video game / if you're old enough to remember arcades terms, there's extra lives still, but basically, Peter gave up his extra lives for some odd reason,
right?
Which came back as let's just say it gets addressed at the end of the issue, in a matter that's not surprising,
right?
Given that happens,
right?
But yeah, the X-Men is
still getting. If you're still getting used to Phil Coulson's new role, you're getting more and more of it during this little story arc.
Right. Which part of me kind of wants to go back and read that whole thing, but I don't know if it's worth it. Because that's still weird.
I don't think you need to. I think, it's pretty much, it's stunt casting, but MCU and, synergy style.
Yeah, sure. But like I said, I'm still wanting to see what the thought process was, story wise anyway, for that. But we'll see. If it ever happens, who knows? But yeah, I say in my notes that Spider-Man and the X-Men, well, of course we get the team up with Spider-Man and the X-Men in this situation, because the X-Men are on the scene, including one bearer of Sidorak's power that is a part of the team now. Spidey makes a joke that is similar to one in this week's Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I found kind of funny. Because during that show, during some action part, Spidey was like, "Hey, you know what? I get it. You like New York. New York's great and all, but you should go somewhere else." And there's a similar joke that was kind of made here with Spidey and the X-Men, which was kind of funny. I'm like, I don't know if that was an intentional synergy, but man, that was nicely timed. That was nicely timed.
I knew that seemed familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And also, last in my notes, it was like, they are really laying it on really thick in the letters page, about what happens at the end.
Wait, say again?
I said they are laying it on really thick in the letters page about what happens at the end.
Really? I did not read that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny. I was like, okay, I see what y'all are doing, and that's cool, but obviously there's going to be a way out of this. that probably will have something to do with the overarching event that's going on. Who's to say? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's Amazing Spider-Man 68. It's good stuff. It's I don't know, the whole Peter gets help from this other person that you weren't really expecting to situation was like, yeah, okay, I guess that can only lead to one other thing happening. And if that's going to happen, it'll probably be in the next issue or two, because I guess that's how many issues of this we got left, if I can think about it. But anyway, next up, unless you got something else to bring up on this.
No, I'm good.
X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men specifically, number 10.
Uncanny X-Men number 10 is written by Gail Simone, with art by Andre Bressan, colors by Matthew Wilson, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowell. So we catch up. Well, the issue opens with a revelation about someone who the X-Men are staying with. Mm-hmm. And we pick up pretty much right where we left off with the kids who are on a day trip to the mall, and things are going bad to have gone from bad to worse for them. As we pick up right where the last issue left off, the cavalry can't get there fast enough, but they all seem to hold their own, and the cavalry does get there just in time to help finish things up. And what's funny about this issue is that one of the characters realizes that what they're facing can be affected by certain powers, and they basically come through in the clutch at the end.
Right.
And I like that. I thought that was pretty well done. The kids are all right, as the saying goes. Right? The kids are all right.
I saw it coming. I was like, is he actually going to say it? Yes, he did.
Yep. The kids are all right.
Yeah. So as I said last time we talked about Uncanny, the kids are definitely getting the Jubilee experience here. And boy, did they get it full blown. And speaking of Jubilee, she's trying to get a date while things are going on, so it's kind of funny. Kurt at the beginning of the issue, before things start, before the adults start getting wind of things, gets let's just say gets gifted because of an earlier deed, which touches him, and that's when we find out the revelation that Agent 70 talked about, or prior to that, we found out the revelation that which I kind of feel like that was the case, because there was too much going on, like why are these people here in this specific place with these specific people, and something that has to be the case, and sure enough, boom. And lastly, we in true X-Men fashion, while this other stuff is going on, we see Rogue and Gambit out on the time, who are quite, unaware of what's going on, has been going on this whole issue, but of course is poised to get into their own issue, or their own trouble next issue, which apparently is going to start off that, or is going to be a part of that X-Man hunt situation that's coming up.
Right. That seems to be the pending crossover storyline that's going to be crossing over into all of the next issues, it seems like, of upcoming X books, and we'll be talking about it next month.
Indeed. And with that, I think we got one more book that we have in common, and it's still in the X corner, which is Storm number 5.
Storm number 5 is written by Murewa Ayodele, with art by Lucas Vernick, colors by Alex Guimarães, and letters by VC's Travis Lanham. So we've officially gone cosmic in Storm story. Officially. And this is, full-throated, all hands on deck cosmic. Everything from this is all very I'm trying to come up with the right way of putting it. It's all it all seems a little off base for me. Well, but they have been setting it up from jump, so it's not unexpected, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it seems like we went all the way in when it comes to the cosmic stuff. This is the what is it? It's like the different aspects of life and reality, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. I'm trying to think. When are these things? When are these things part of like stories? Would it be Thor books, FF books, a little bit of both, like cosmic level, entity stuff.
I mean, definitely has been in the past. I mean, maybe even on certain level, it kind of touched on the Avengers at a point in the time. But yeah, they've definitely, those would probably be the case. I guess Thor would be the closest impetus.
Yeah, we're talking about like the primordial elements of like the building blocks of life, and I kind of got a kick out of the House of Ideas being the home of the one overall,
right?
Because I want to say that was an FF thing.
I thought it was a Thor thing or a Loki thing, more specifically. I'm not sure.
I think when the FF visited God, that's where they went.
Sure. Okay. That would make
this
sense.
during like the Mark Waid run, some like a while ago, obviously.
Sure. Also, you could also say that the Ultimates, because they've had some cosmic. They definitely during their runs had, and I mean the 616 Ultimates, not the Ultimates in not the Ultimates that's going around in the Ultimate Universes, but they've also had some cosmic run-ins during their run. So
right.
To this level, probably, but I can't remember anything specific.
Right. So it's kind of weird. Like I said, it's not completely out of place because they've been setting it up since issue number 1. Right. So, but this is, we've reached the culmination of that particular storyline where we're full into it. We're absolutely full into it. It's spurred on by Storm's interaction with the new Sorcerer Supreme, Victor Von Doom, and it carries on into this issue.
What was I going to say? Oh, and this is where, as I mentioned from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, a certain entity also pops up at the end. Also, it's kind of funny, during the course of certain things that happens in here, I got a kick out of, I'm assuming this is a new character that gets introduced because of a cosmic trial that is going on that kind of put me in mind of, as a matter of fact, I say in my notes, not Madison, but Madness. Because the Madness is the name of the character. But my first instinct was saying yes. But my first instinct was like, Madison? No, it's not her.
Wait, now I'm trying to think. I probably just missed it because I was trying to make sense of what was going on.
Right. So basically, at this point, Aurora.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I see.
Yeah. Basically, at this point, Aurora is on a similar level as her quote unquote sister, Jean Grey.
And what's funny is what's funny about it is I want to say I think what you're getting at with the Avengers stuff is that Hickman run where one of those characters at least physically resembled Madness, as it were.
Oh, that Madness resembles? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought about that first because I was like, wait, are they bringing that character in a new thing? But no, this is definitely, as far as I could tell, actually, I don't know, I have to go back and look, but this seems to be a new iteration of a similar character.
Right.
So, but like that would be some homework to bear out. But I'm sure if you ask Mario Ayodele on Twitter, he will be like, yes, yeah, and nay, because he's pretty good about answering certain stuff, just plain out. At this point, and probably already has actually. Now that I think about it, but I don't know. I have not looked. So yeah, it was a good issue regardless. I think anyway, and the new figure. I mean, the new. Storm's new status is now cemented, and we shall see where it goes from there. Although we're getting hints of that by the end of the issue, or during most of the issue, but definitely near the end of the issue, we get to see what she's about to get into because of the cosmic stuff going on. So, that being said, you got something else so we can push on to wrap it? Oh, I was going to say this is for my Monster Hunter people. Living Tribunal is a hammer main. So some of y'all get that reference. But yeah, that said, we are going to move on to Rapid Fire.
All right, folks. Rapid Fire review time.
I ain't got time to breathe.
righty. First up for me is Daredevil number 18. This is definitely a candidate for Click of the Week for me. It's written by Saladin Ahmed with art by Aaron Kuder, colors by Jesus Abertov, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. Now, I got spoiled a little bit that the next issue is probably going to be Aaron Kuder's last on Daredevil, and it's probably going to be the last issue of this particular story arc, because things seem to be coming to a crescendo with Daredevil. Next issue, Daredevil has to make a choice. His sins have followed him out of the gates of hell, and the seven deadly sins, and one of the deadliest sins is going to force him to make a choice. There's definitely some parallels to Seven, as it were, but it's very, very, very loose parallels. There's nothing direct here. But at the end of the day, it's still very good. Definitely candidate for Click of the Week for me. Next up is Aliens versus Avengers number 3. It's written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Esad Rabich, colors by Eve Forcina, and letters by VC's Corey Petit. In this issue, we find out, I loved Aliens versus Avengers number 2, right? We find out though that the escape was to go to a locale that is familiar to fans of the X-Men and obviously of the Krakoan-era. Unfortunately, one of the architects of the downfall of the Krakoan-era finds his way to figures out a way to take advantage of a situation here, and it all goes bad. It just goes bad. So that's Aliens versus Avengers number 3. Did you read this, or did you have a chance to skim through it?
No, not yet.
Okay, I'm sorry if I spoiled just a little bit of it, but I hope you enjoy it. Next up is X-Force number 8. It's written by Jeffrey Thorne with art by Marcus Cho, colors by Eric Arciniega, and letters by our favorite lettering paisan, VC's Joe Caramagna. So I had to backtrack and read like X-Force issues number 6, 7, and 8 to remember what was going on, because one of the characters that X-Force is going up against is a female Diablo, La Diabla. And it's basically a game of matching wits between La Diabla and her alchemy and slash magic, and the members of X-Force, specifically Forge, Sage, and maybe the telepaths, Rachel Summers, Phoenix. Wait, they've changed her code name, right?
Nah,
or no?
If they did, I don't remember it, honestly.
Right, and Captain Britain, aka Betsy Braddock. Right, and that's essentially where we are at the end of this issue. It's been a 3-issue long story arc. I'm sure it's going to keep going. Probably after the X-Manhunt story is going to cross over into this issue, I think in the issue to follow. Next up is Weapon X-Men number 1 of 5. It's written by Joe Casey with pencils by Chris Cross. Welcome back, Chris Cross, to Mainstream Comics. With inks by Mark Morales, colors by Yen Nitro, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. So this group of X-Men and former X-Men, recruited by Wolverine, Cable, Chamber, and Deadpool, kind of come together right now over me, and we get Thunderbird, John Proudstar making an appearance here. Things are not as they seem, because Deadpool may not be on the side of the Angels completely at this point, but we'll see where the rest of this miniseries goes. Next up is Thunderbolt's Doomstrike number 1 of 5. It's written by former guests of the Comic Book Chronicles, Jason Lansing and Colin Kelly, with art by Tommaso Bianchi, colors by Yen Nitro, and letters by VC's Joe Sabino. So some interesting things happen in this issue. Obviously, they're going to put the Thunderbolts on the front burner when it comes to stories here, because there's a movie coming out starring a version of the Thunderbolts, and they're sure to incorporate at least a few of the characters featured in the Thunderbolts in the MCU. Unbeknownst to me, I guess maybe I had not read it before, is that there's a previous Thunderbolts miniseries or series that they reference in this issue, but things are going sideways when Bucky is trying to take things to Victor Von Doom, and Victor has been planning things. He might be a couple of steps ahead of Bucky when it comes to this, and some shocking things happen in this issue, and things are predictably bad for Bucky moving forward, because he's up against Doom, and he's trying to come up with something effective. It's kind of like the way this One World Under Doom storyline is going, where even in that opening issue of the miniseries, Doom was a couple of steps ahead of the Avengers and just the assembled heroes. He is here also ahead of the Winter Soldier and the rest of the Thunderbolts. Let's see. My penultimate book is NYX number 8. It's written by, again, former guests of the show, Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, with art by Francesco Mortarino, colors by Raul Angulo, and letters by VC's Joe Sabino. Are you reading this at all?
I have been. In fact, I'm caught up. I just hadn't read this issue.
So this is some serious dealing with his code word is not Legion. It's his code name is not Legion. It's something else. But there's a lot of kind of backstory here that I was not that familiar with, and this character's history with X-23 Laura Kinney. And I was kind of curious to have to research that and maybe use our favorite research tool, Marvel Unlimited, not a sponsor, to go see what, where some of these stories came from or were tapping into, because, I didn't know about it. And it was new to me. It may not have been new, but it was new to me. And it just seemed very, interesting, and so much of this character story with between Laura Kinney, Wolverine, and Hellion. Hellion is Julian. I can't remember the character's last name, but Hellion, who's been raising a ruckus in New York City. That there's a bit of coming together in this issue. Last but not least is Nightwing number 123, obviously published by DC. It's written by Dan Waters with art by Dexter Soy, colors by Veronica Gandini, and letters by Wes Abbott. So I have been reading this, but skimming it for the most part, because there's a lot of stuff going on here that is kind of hard to keep up with, because there's a yet another gang war in Bloodhaven, but it involves young kids, and these young kids are gaining some power, some augmentation, and it gets a little wacky. If you did not know, in the previous run by Tom Taylor, Nightwing has an ally in City Hall in Bloodhaven as the result of a couple of revelations, and they might be working accidentally against each other at the end of this. So we'll see how that goes, and that's it for me.
To refer back to something you were asking about earlier, Rachel Summers' current alias is Ascani.
Ah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I know it changed. That's why like there's no way they're calling her Phoenix,
Right?
because there's an actual Phoenix story. So
right. So yeah, and I was like, okay, because I had to look it up, and I was like, wait, I knew that was a name that they gave her, but I thought that was just a name that they gave her because of the one part of her story and and dealing with thing. But apparently, nope, that's what she's going by now.
Right.
All right, for me, first up, Flash Gordon number 6. I did not bring up the soundbite, but that's fine. In fact, I forgot to get the stupid cover, but that's okay. Written by Jeremy Adams, art by Will Conrad and Cliff Richards, colors by Lee Luffridge, and actually we're just gonna do this right now. There we go. Colors by Taylor Esposito. So, Flash and Ming the Merciless, and I think the other guy whose name is escaping me right now, Daranek, I think is his name, have escaped their pursuers along with Dr. Zarkov, who is now in a robot body for some reason. They get to a safe spot so they can resupply, but of course Ming is going to Ming, and things happen as a result of that, which causes Flash Gordon to do some Flash Gordon things, which don't necessarily turn off because of a booby trap that gets, or a couple of booby traps that get sprung, and let's just say when things blow up, they end up bringing new troubles to Flash, because of what's going on here. So Flash Gordon is basically he's not a bad guy, but he has been blamed for blowing up Mongo, which, of course, a lot of people lived on. So therefore, he is kind of an enemy of the world. When everybody's scattered, and that is again leading to him trying to evade capture, and while trying to get to a certain spot, but doesn't work out that way. Next up, excuse me, Star Trek number 29. Yeah, well, there we go. I got that one. Written by, actually, once again, former guests of the show Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, with art by Tess Fowler this time, and letters by Clayton Cowles. So this is continuing the whole, hey, the universe is gone, and Benjamin is not necessarily stuck, but he is, I guess technically he's in the wormhole, because that was the last safe space that they were trying to get to, but he is the only one that made it through, and he has been basically living out a a few different lifespans with these out of time / out of space Bajorans that were also here, and he is basically cooked up a plan that he's been enacting with their help, and kind of been going back and forth with some things, all the while seeing his son Jake pop up there for different reasons, or for a reason, possibly against him, but not really, just kind of talking to him while Benjamin's doing his thing. And the story gets to a point to where Benjamin's plan kind of starts to come together, and we get a new type of starship, basically, that he ends up using to effect. There's also a Benny Russell reference, which, if you know your Star Trek Deep Space Nine, you know where that comes from. And also the Ones We Left Behind reference, which was the documentary on Star Trek Deep Space Nine that was used in here. And at the end, we come to find out that because of what Benjamin is doing, a new emissary has been named who is. I'm not sure where this person is because, like I said, the universe is gone, so there's really not much else to be, with the exception of 2 different places. And the reason why the universe is gone is because of lore. So, if you weren't in the wormhole and no one who made it through outside of Benjamin, then you were where either lore was, basically. And so I'm assuming that's where this character is at the end of this issue. Not sure. Guess we'll find out, though. Next up, excuse me, Milestone Universe. Oh, wait, which one is the right one? That one. The Milestone Universe, The Shadow Cabinet number 4 of 4, written by Joseph P. Illich, art by Darryl Banks and Atagon Ilhan and Ray Anthony Height, colors by Chris Sotomayor, and letters by Andrew Warren Design. So yeah, this is the last issue of this miniseries, which has a lot of the Milestone characters kind of coming together, and in this case, to defeat a foe from that universe that has apparently found themselves back because of a relative that they either, I think they knew about or didn't want to acknowledge, basically. Because we got last issue, we got the backstory of said character. But regardless, this is the big final showdown where, you know, folks are trying to make the ultimate sacrifice and that doesn't happen. And folks still get to live another day and could be potentially setting up another crossover / miniseries that has to do with a more noted DC enemy that Superman would run up against that had was kind of the catalyst of this from a previous miniseries that was set in the Milestone universe with a couple of characters. So there's still a little bit of actual DC going on here, but yeah, it's cool. We got, of course, Static Shock is in here. Rocket and Icon, is here. In fact, Rock is pretty much one of the main characters here, and a couple of the other, or a few of the other, Milestone groups / characters, including a new set that was that popped in from a few years. That was created like a year or 2 or 4 or 5 back. So cool. Next up, Zatanna, number 1 of 6. I'm not going to say her name backwards. Don't worry about that. Written and art by Jamal Campbell. Letters by Ariana Maher. That's it. So what starts off with this fairy tale that will likely play a part of the book and kind of does. Zatanna finds herself setting up a new show at this venue, and having practices with a crew and all that kind of good mess. And we find out a little bit of lore about this venue that ends up being a part of what ends up happening to Zatanna and her crew, because things start to happen, which causes her crew to go missing, and Zatanna having to jump into action against I guess an entity that is, that was haunting the place or something along those lines. So, and at the end, when things look like they're about to wrap up, things take a turn for our heroine, and which leads us into what's going to happen in the next issue, whatever that might be. Next up is, hey there, is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man number 3 of 5. It's not too many times I'm going to be able to say that anymore like that, so just got to use it up for what it is. Written by Christos Gage, art by Eric Gapster, excuse me, color artist Jim Campbell, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. So yeah, this is the prequel. This is the prequel miniseries to the show. So this is set before the show. But not by much, from what I'm understanding. So, because the event in the show that happens with I want to call it Milestone. Midtown is, kind of happens here, or it kind of gets mentioned here. So it's in between the first episode of, seemingly in between the first episode and what happens after that in the series, basically. So in this case, we have Spider-Man up against the Enforcers, which of course, longtime classic Spidey adversaries, but this is his first time meeting them in this universe to an effect. And this issue basically is like, okay, he met him, he had a run-in with him, now he has to go back and regroup and is going to end up fighting him again. We also see Peter making, of course, Peter has to do, feeling a certain kind of way and thinking about decisions that he was making, because the coach of the team, the football team, if you've watched the show, you've seen, saw Peter out in the hall doing some stuff he probably shouldn't have been doing and try to recruit him for the team. So Peter's kind of wondering, well, should I use? And the coach was trying to sell him on, hey, you're going to get a scholarship and this and that and the other, da 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 da. So Peter decides to go out for the team and starts to wonder, should I be using my talents like this for gain or what if? And of course, the Peter Soul Social goes into asking other people questions and this and the other, whatever and that's all. But like I said, it all leads back to Peter making some changes to the suit that we have seen in the show, or that we end up seeing in the show, or actually that we actually see in the show, excuse me. And of course, a round 2 with the Enforcers next issue. So we'll see how that turns out then. Next up, nope, that's not right. Ultimate Black Panther is the next book. Excuse me. Written by former guests of the show, Brian Hill, art by Stefano Caselli, color artist David Curiel, and excuse me, letters by VC's Corey Pettit. So basically, T'Challa and the new Sorcerer Supreme Inan have a chat, which mostly ends up about what's going on with him and what's going on with Vibranium throughout the majority of this, which leads into a confrontation. And on the other side of it, we have Aurora trying to talk Killmonger into leaving once again. And one of them ends up in the conflict that happens because of the stuff I said at the beginning of talking about this. So, which leads to the end of the book, and apparently the Sorcerer Supreme suggesting something happening that's going to need to happen with Wakanda. So we should see how that turns out next issue. And the last book for me is Exceptional X-Men, number 6. Written by Evel Ewing, art by Carmen Carnero, color artist Nolan Woodard, and letters by VC's Travis Lanham. I know Agent 70 said he hadn't had a chance to check this out yet, so I won't say too much. But there's a little something that's been kind of teased in the last couple of issues about a certain app that folks are using. And it comes to find out that while the kids, smart as they are and as resourceful as they are, especially in dealing with the likes of Emma Frost, and wanting to do some things for themselves, end up in a way interacting, or basically not even interacting with the person who made the app and find out the reasons why and what they're doing, which of course ends up not being a great thing. But one of the kids ends up, may be ending up falling for it, or seeing a little bit more about what's going on with said app for reasons, even with all of the red flags that were given up when they found out about things. So therein lies that, and we will see the continuing continuation of that next issue. Shout out to Von Gloom in the chat who says, "Wow, I'm operating on CPU time. CPU time. Don't worry about it. It's all good, sir."
Oh no!
But that's it for my books. Kliqs of the week.
Alrighty, that saves me from at least typing an LOL in the chat here. Kliqs of the week.
Do you have your potentials?
I have my candidates. Yes, okay. I have my candidates because I read a lot this week, but I can definitely narrow it down to. I like G.I. Joe #4. I like that. There's definitely a sense of foreboding and tension in this issue. Mm-hmm. But I think that what I really enjoyed this week were. And I also liked Aliens versus Avengers because it had a familiar foil in it. If you're familiar with the Krakoan-era of X-Men, especially the fall of Krakoa, you got to see a familiar, let's say a familiar foil for the X-Men, again running, roughshod over things. But my main candidates remain Daredevil #18 and Doom Academy #105. So I just need a moment to review those options again before I make a choice.
So I agree with you on Doom Academy #105. That was a good, that was a good issue. G.I. Joe also the #4. Also agree with you on that as a potential candidate with. I would add for myself. This is probably not going to make it, but Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #3 of 5 was pretty good. It was a pretty fun read. And Milestone Universe, the Shadow Academy #4 of 4 is definitely. Why is it? I cannot find it. There it is, right there. But I think I'm actually going to go with Doom Academy #1 of 5 for myself. So.
Well, we can make that at least semi-unanimous. Doom Academy #1 of 5. I'll go with also as my Kliq of the week choice.
Nice. And there it is, folks. It is indeed One World Under Doom, at least this week. So,
it's kind of funny. It's one of those stories that, you get mildly annoyed to see Doom basically taking it to every hero in every corner of the Marvel universe, but it's just something you have to write out and see how it all plays out.
Right. Well, and if it plays out like any other time, specifically Secret Wars, Doom's probably going to trip himself up.
We'll see how it goes.
I would also add the original Secret Wars in that, but that's a whole nother situation, but still applies. And with that, right. We're going to go into the news section, but first, an ad read.
Our first ad read of the night is for Blue Apron's meal delivery service. Blue Apron, fresh ingredients and incredible recipes delivered weekly to your door. Skip the grocery store and make incredible meals at home with Blue Apron, always shipped free right to your home. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can get $30 off your first Blue Apron order. To place your first order with $30 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us. That's cspn.us. Then click on the Keep Our Podcast free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Blue Apron link and sign up for your first order. Blue Apron through cspn.us. Do it today. Maybe Rex used our code to get a discount on Blue Apron.
Oh yeah. Nice. Nice.
Anyway, and now we get into the news.
You saying that, and I legit thought, oh, is he going to actually say where he got it from? Because that almost felt like he almost would have. That would have been some funny shit. And also on a brand. But anyway, cinematic news, folks, as we do about this time. First up, I don't know if you noticed, but Daredevil Born Again is nigh, and the part of the cast actually sat down with Entertainment Weekly ahead of. Wait, is this right? No. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Basically talk with Entertainment Tonight, Entertainment Weekly, excuse me, and that's where this article is coming from. Apparently, it is still an 18 episode season. Is that part is still correct, right?
Say again?
Know of? The Daredevil Born Again is still going to be 18 episodes, right? Because this article says as much, but
right. It's not as long as it was initially conceived of, but I think it's still going to be long.
Right. I mean, that's longer than any other show we've gotten recently. So, but also they the stars talk about the show starting back up, and also potential season 2 plans, according to this article. So,
oh no, it says instead. The article reads, instead of 18 episodes, the first season will consist of 9.
Okay, yeah, because because they say here Marvel began filming 18. That's why I was asking that, because it was like, well, they must have changed that.
Right.
So okay, and I didn't see
So
where.
basically, the first season will consist of 9 installments, 2 premiering on Disney Plus on March 4th, which is only 2 weeks away, folks. It's less than 2 weeks from today, and with the remaining order spun off into a second season. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't look down far enough to see that part. So
no, it's okay. I wanted to double check that because that episode count just didn't sound right.
Right, and that's why I had the question. I was like, wait, that don't seem right. So anyway, so it's back to basically normal
we teamed up on this particular story. It's all right.
Exactly. And so basically it's per normal for current seasons of shows in the Marvel Universe. But yeah, so you can check that article out for yourself and read about what they have to say about things of such nature. Next,
I was about to say, it hits a little too close to home because we get corrupt mayor in the city, in New York City, in Daredevil, and we have one in real life apparently.
Indeed, and yes, and further up government as well.
Exactly.
Next up, though.
Anyway, next up. So we skipped that first story.
Wait, no. What do you mean? Oh, we sure did. God damn it! I know. My bad. Yeah, hit that one. I don't know why.
Alrighty, I will do the very first story, just in case people are following along with our show notes and trying to figure out why we skip certain stories. Sometimes they make sense. Invincible season 3 just brought back a major fan favorite character and his iconic voice actor. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Battle Beast, and the actor is none other than Michael Dorn, who we know as Lieutenant Worf.
Yes, Worf with the voice I can't do.
That's right. That's right. So, it's pretty fun to hear Worf, rattling off that he wants a battle and he's looking for combat. That's kind of what we're used to him hearing. We're used to hearing him say, that is.
True. The only thing he didn't say, although he does sound a little bit different in this than what we normally have seen him have, or even have seen him in live action stuff. But yeah, I almost looked to hear him say today is a good day to die, but I think he was kind of close with something he said. So, but yeah, he's playing Battle Beast in this, of course, as he has done in the past, which kind of plays into stuff we talked about earlier in the show. Actually, we didn't talk about that part now to think, but I did mention the fact that there's some stuff going on outer space, but that wasn't in this episode. That was the last episode. And of course, we also know that they're doing a Battle Beast comic book coming up. So, synergy. There you go. Next up, though. Von Gloom says Wilson Fisk is still a little better married than Eric Adams and less dirty.
Oh my God!
I'm not a New Yorker, so I can't vouch for that. But somehow I can't seem like that's true. I don't know. That's just me. I'm outside this picture, so I don't know. But next up, Michael B. Jordan played one of MCU's best villains in 2018's Black Panther, aka he was a Killmonger. Spoiler alert: something happens to the character, but he did apparently return in the next movie. This article basically is saying he returns in the movie without even seeing the script because he basically wanted to, do right by Chadwick Boseman, so it didn't really matter what was called for him in the script. He was going to come back regardless. So that's cool. But there is a quote here, I will say. Coming back to do Black Panther 2 after the tragedy of losing Chadwick Boseman was an extremely tough one. I was in pre-production for Creed 3, so I was getting ready to go direct, which I totally forget that he has actually done some directing. At the time, I didn't even read the whole script, so I didn't know what the whole movie was about. And the quote goes off from there, but which you can read in the article for yourself. Next up.
All righty. Speaking of Michael B. Jordan, he says that while he believes that Marvel will get its success back after a bunch of less than stellar movies coming out. Obviously we have the hit of Deadpool Wolverine, but that had its own reasons for being successful. He's confident that Marvel will be successful and continue to be successful, but he basically says that he wants to see a Blade movie because they are everything, and hopefully that it's tough to launch any franchise, but he does want to see a Blade movie come out.
Indeed. And so do some of us, like myself.
Yep.
Next up, though, bing. Oops. Anthony Mackie and Captain America Brave New World director Julius Ona address urge to politicize the Marvel picture. I say continue to do it, honestly. But whatever. During Tuesday's world premiere in Hollywood, which was a while ago or years ago at this point, but it really wasn't. They both spoke to Deadline about offering audiences, quote, an escape with the fourth Captain America film, which sees Mackie's Sam Wilson achieve the quote unquote American dream in taking over the shield from Steve Rogers. Quote, I think the great thing about this movie is Marvel gave us the best script with the best cast, with the best team to make the best movie we could. And I'm proud of it, Mackie says. I'm proud of who Sam Wilson has become in this universe, and watching him grow from a guy who just went to take a jog to Captain America is honestly the American dream. Sure. Julius Ona added, this is the first big fat movie of 2025. Telling the story was about creating something that the audience can have a blast with across the world. It goes on from there. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but yeah, it kind of sounds like they're not wanting people to politicize it, but let's face it, it's going to happen and probably needs to at this point. So yeah. Next up though.
So I actually saw this interview because it popped up on my feed as I was looking for something else Graham Norton related. Graham Norton does a British talk show, and basically the story recounted here is about Anthony Mackie, who was on the press tour for Captain America Brave New World, and he basically restates a story that was reported 14 years ago, back when Avengers was the first Avengers movie was first being made public. So according to Anthony Mackie, Marvel secrecy all started with none other than Sam Jackson. While on the Graham Norton show, Mackie explained that an assistant downloaded the script for the Avengers. Sam Jackson goes in to get the script, and the assistant downloads the script, presses print, and nothing happens. They call a tech. The tech comes, works on the printer. The script comes out. The assistant takes it to Sam Jackson, but he had clicked it twice, right? That's happened to all of us, all right? And apparently, a second copy of the script came out once the assistant left. A PA on the movie found the script in the printer and sold it. And then the whole script was online. And just like that, the entire original script for the Avengers was floating around the internet, all thanks to that simple printer mishap. And that's how the security protocols went into overdrive over at Marvel Studios.
Right.
And the snipers were hired and the teams put in place.
Indeed. That's funny. So thanks, Sam Jackson, and thanks Xerox or whoever made that printer.
Right.
But yeah, next up though, pardon me. There we go. Constantine 2 director Francis Lawrence reveals sequel is, quote, closer than ever, as opposed to being tougher than leather. I would say we are closer than ever to being able to do a sequel, which is a great thing. And Akiva, Keanu, and I are super, super excited about it, was the quote from the director. And then it goes on into about the original movie, which I still haven't seen. And the quote also continues, we have a great idea. We have gone through a bunch of the comics over the years and looked at things. I would say that there's probably grains from things that we were pulling. But in truth, most of it is coming from the three of us, loving the character, loving the world, having it sort of in the back of our minds for 20 years, and just kind of percolating on the ideas and stories and characters we love and ideas we love. End quote. There you go. I know people love that first Constantine movies.
I have not watched it yet. I have not watched it.
Yeah, neither have I, but I know some really, well, I don't say diehard people because they're not really comic book people, but I think they just love it because it's Keanu. But also, the periphery of what Constantine is in that movie, I guess. And Von Gloom says, we are further away from caring about the Constantine sequel. Oh, there are people that actually still care, so don't be like that. Next up, though.
Alrighty, next up. Super / Man. The Christopher Reeve story wins the BAFTA award for Best Documentary. So the documentary, directed by Ian Bonhot and Peter Ettedgui, won the prestigious Best Documentary Award at the 78th British Academy Film Awards. The award was presented during a ceremony held on Sunday, February 16th, 2025 at the Royal Festival Hall in London. That's pretty cool. I watched this documentary. I liked it. I know that I mentioned this to Roddykat. I don't believe he's watched it yet.
Not yet, no. But at some point when I have tears, to want to give up for the thug tease, of course, manly.
Of course.
Whatever. That's all whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I get around to it at some point. So Von Gloom says if you haven't watched the Constantine movie, just watch Prophecy instead. It's the same premise. Yeah, I don't know. There's a reason why I haven't watched Constantine in all this time, even though I think I own it. So it'll be all right.
Thanks for the recommendation.
Indeed. Next up.
That's you.
No, hold on. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything before that happened. Okay, yes, that's right. So James Bond. So I saw this earlier today or yesterday. I can't remember, but apparently Amazon's taking over creative control of the 007 franchise,
Wow.
as producers Robert
Wow,
Broccoli.
the vegetables are not in control?
Yes, no. And Michael G. Wilson
Is it
stepped
Brussels
back.
sprouts now? I mean, what?
So silly. So the shock announcement, which is sure to shake and indeed stir, the industry, according to this Variety article, was made Thursday, which was today, alongside the news that the longtime producers and custodians of 007, Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, would be stepping back. As per details of the historic agreement, Amazon MGM Studios, Wilson and Broccoli have formed a new joint venture to house the James Bond intellectual property rights. The three parties,
I feel good.
Right. the three parties will remain co-owners of the iconic franchise, but Amazon MGM will have creative control, which is also weird considering we had a story like not even last week or week before last that Barbara Broccoli was like, they're Amazon's idiots. So I wondering how much more money was exchanging hands after that happened. I know that's a cynical view, but to be like, no, you go ahead, go chill out, and we got this. Don't worry about it. So, I don't know.
I had to stop myself from going down. I want to say it was the Delirious route, doing the whole Eddie Murphy bit
Right.
that Eddie does.
Right. Right.
See, now I'm gonna have to giggle while I like kind of run through it in my head. Alrighty, legendary Street Fighter movie has been confirmed to be directed by Kitao Sakurai. So Legendary's live-action Street Fighter movie has found a new director, and they've officially hired Kitao Sakurai, who directed Bad Trip and Twisted Metal. He reportedly signed on to direct the film months ago, but it's just been confirmed by Deadline. Sakurai takes over the project from Danny and Michael Philippou, who left the project over scheduling issues. Okay.
Sure. Now, I heard there are some people that like that Twisted Metal, which I'm going to assume is the show that Anthony Mackie was in and not any sort of live action movie that probably Uwe Boll or somebody did, if there was one. So yeah, we'll just have to see how that turns out. Von Klum says, I would love to see that now. Secret Agent James Brown. I feel like that was absolutely an SNL skit that probably happened or was turned down. More likely. Which, by the way, not Von Gloom. Well, Von Gloom too, but 1870. Did you see the 50th anniversary of SNL?
I did.
Thing? You did.
I did.
I saw some of the pre-show stuff. I didn't watch the actual show itself. I still got it in there to check out. So
I did. It was there were some funny parts, and there's one particular that I don't think it really landed as well as it could have, but there was this one kind of recap of like kind of the passage of time since SNL started in terms of New York City and its neighborhoods and and just living in New York City and what it's gone through over the course of 50 years. And I thought that was a pretty good walk down memory lane, as it were.
Also, it's a weird thing to be older than SNL. Just saying that for myself. That's some weird shit. But also, I did see one skit where I probably shouldn't. This is not worth getting into, but the cast was basically apologizing to a certain person for past skits because of the current climate, political wise. So I'm like, okay, because at first I giggled at it, but I said at the same time I was like, wait, did Lauren Michaels actually put y'all up to actually doing that? But anyway, next up we're going to get into the anime corner.
Oh, you know what? Before we do the jump, I ran across on the same page as one of the stories is that apparently now the Jeff Trammell, who is I guess one of the show people for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man,
showrunner and executive producer.
Right, posted on Instagram that Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, is going to be coming to Friendly Neighborhood, and posted images of what the character would look like in season 2.
Oh yeah, didn't you have that in our Google chat, or I could have sworn I saw something along those lines, but okay. So now I'm kind of wondering, is that the possible thing that was teased in? I mean, well, the finale in itself kind of made a certain thing also possible, but you kind of wonder now which way that's going to go, because there was a slight tease in the first episode and also the final episode,
right.
that would lead to a situation like that happening. So I'm kind of wondering if that's how they're going to play that out or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be it's all going to be very different. Obviously, it's all very, we've joked about it before and it's rung true. It's all very what if. Mm-hmm. So we don't know if this is the character whose bag the spider jumped into in the first episode or not.
Right.
Or this is going to be another universe thing, because that was obviously possibly touched upon as the result of what happened in the last episode.
Yes and no. And I want to say no because we don't have that version of Gwen Stacy. That doesn't mean that they couldn't do it. That by no means
they can figure out a way to just kind of shoehorn that in.
Right. But I feel like if they're going to keep it in universe, then it'll happen one way or the other. But we'll find out, because that's some interesting piece to find out about. If you have that link, I'll put it in the show notes for people.
Absolutely, I will. I will put it into our chat.
Yeah, Von Gloom, I wasn't going to mention that, but yes, you are correct. Because we don't want to spoil it for folks, as
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, on to the anime corner.
All righty, I'll play a transition.
And this would be you, actually, because it's the last one.
All righty, let me get this other chat pasted.
Yeah, while you're doing that,
there it is. No, I just wanted to get it across.
But let me mention this real quick before we do that. Von Gloom says they need to add Silk since they have so many non-spider related characters in the show already. I would agree with it, because in fact, when we talked about the first episode of the show, we posited that as a possibility, because we still don't know who picked up that other bag, as we said. So I mean, it's a possibility, but with that news, would we just kind of, I don't know, maybe not, we'll see. But anyway, anime news, anime corner.
Let's see here. Solo Leveling creates live action adaptation for season 2's big news. Okay, so the Solo Leveling second season is one of the biggest players in the anime game at the moment. Following the first season finale granting Jinwoo-sung the power of a necromancer, things have changed greatly for the anime protagonist as he finds himself stepping out of the shadows to achieve his current goals. Okay. Let's see here. So to help in celebrating a major development in Jinwoo's life, the A1 Pictures series is one that has created a wild new live-action adaptation to spread the word. Okay. So the new live-action project recreates the announcement that Jinwoo has become a force to be reckoned with. Okay.
I mean, yeah, those who know, we already knew, but further the leveling, I say, further the leveling. Let's see, I'll put this in there right there, and since that's where we're
all right. So it's in the form of a news broadcast that does use footage from the anime, and it seems that the broadcaster is none other than the voice actor Ito Rivera, who plays the part of Fujisaki Yukari in the anime adaptation. Okay.
Nice. And you can see, I assume that is them in this picture. Or I guess that is the thumbnail for the video.
Yep.
That is attached to this article. Cool. Next up, Avatar sequel series Seven Havens, ordered at Nickelodeon set after Legend of Korra. That's a reference y'all don't know. So yeah, apparently this has been the full name that has been greenlit is Avatar Seven Havens. It's a new 2D animated series that will consist of 26 half-hour episodes spread across 2 seasons, or books 1 and 2 in the Avatar style, as they tend to do. News of the pickup comes as Last Airbender prepares to celebrate its 20th anniversary, and with the original show having debuted on February 21st, 2005. So Seven Havens comes from the original Avatar creators, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, under the Avatar Studios banner from Nickelodeon Animation in Burbank. Dun, 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 dun. It is currently in production. So per the official logline, the series is set in, quote, in a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm. A young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra. But in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Yeah, I guess that makes sense as Earthbender. Hunted by both human and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens before civilization's last stronghold collapses. So some of the rumors that we have seen about the show seems to be bearing out, or at least 1 or 2 of them. So cool. I'm looking forward to it because I enjoy Avatar. I still haven't watched Korra yet, but hey, I'll get around to it before this happens. Next up,
Macross hypes major Gundam studio collab announcement. So Big West, the company that owns the rights to Macross, has shared the first tidbit on the new anime, which was first announced back in 2023, being produced by Sunrise Studio, the same studio behind the Gundam shows. So let's see. Big West has revealed that there will be a special Macross X Sunrise announcement program that will be live streamed in Japan on March 2nd. Information that will be revealed in the live stream will be shared with fans overseas as it becomes available. Okay. So it's it's an announcement of the announcement.
Right. Big West better than Kanye West. I said it. Well, that ain't saying much. But next up, we get into some comic book news.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
So IDW will be releasing, actually it sounds like it came out today, but IDW will be releasing the latest volume in its collection of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics that were produced by Mirage Studios, Kevin Eastman and Peter Lair's original publishing company. Specifically, the second volume of the series that launched in 1993. And apparently CBR has a statement from the writer-artist of that series, Jim Lawson, about the new series. You can see in, I guess, the image of the cover from that series if you're watching the video version. Let's see. Lawson, of course, had become the regular artist and co-writer on the original series for the last dozen issues or so, after previously working on a number of earlier issues in the series. So the new series was a way to transition to Lawson as the main writer-artist on the series in the wake, that's a typo, of the epic City at War event. Which, why do I feel like that City at War thing was a more recent thing, or maybe something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So yeah, I think, let's see, you should, and there's some more going on with this. So it looks like it's $60, 360 pages. And like I said, I think sounds like it should be out today. Or excuse me, yesterday, Wednesday, as of this recording. So next up.
This type of article is, like the stuff of nerd conversations, right?
Sure.
So Marvel apparently quietly introduced a huge change to Reed Richards' powers. And this happened kind of on our watch because this happened in Fantastic Four number 18 by Ryan North, Carlos Gomez, and Jesus Bertov. This was during the storyline where there were asteroids coming in. If you recall, there were transports for a particular alien, and these asteroids at first were coming in, hot and heavy, and the FF had to figure out how to deflect them. And something that Reed came up with led Shield to come up with a theory that Reed had possibly expanded his power set or mutated his power set so that he might be able to do something along the lines of multiple man / multi-Kate, like in Invincible, in the Invincible comic book universe. And if Reed could do that, it'd be interesting to see how that might change the stories going forward.
Sure. I mean, we had seen, and we had even talked about a couple of things he's done that he's normally never done before, like the whole eye thing.
Right.
And I think there was a thing that he did with Alicia during that whole New York business that they were on. So yeah, he's been like doing stuff that was normally out of the ordinary for a minute. Probably after this, I can't remember, or around this, whatever the case may be. But regardless, yeah, we've seen it. It's just a matter of whether they indeed doing that, or it's just because of the story demanded something happened, which is normally the case.
Right.
But Von Gloom mentioned something. So an actual Macross that is centered around music, finally. you joke. Which is actually kind of funny because there's a I need to find out where that thing is. There was a Macross, I guess another a differently dubbed Macross, and I guess differently animated or reanimated Macross / Robotech that I've been seeing lately and was curious about. But anyway, neither here nor there at this point. All the new X-Men comics and collections from Marvel in 2025. So yeah, this is a list of everything from the first of the year. Well, I guess from January 21st specifically, going all the way to the end of the year, or going all the way to September, it looks like, from what this article has. So if you can't get enough of your X-Men and you want to see what's all is coming in that time span, hey, you can check out this article for yourself. Next up.
All right. Marvel is set to introduce a Hell Hulk in May 2025. So, wow. I did not realize that that is who is running around as Wolverine's son Akihiro was recently resurrected, blazing a new trail through the darkest corners of the Marvel Universe as Wolverine. Let's see. So yeah, basically it's Wolverine is the only one standing in the way of Hell Hulk's violent rampage. On sale May 14th. Okay.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, hey, Amadeus Choi is 20 years old, or will be, and this May, co-creators Greg Pak and Takeshi Miyazawa reunite alongside Kreesley, I don't know why I said it with such emphasis, and Jethro Morales in Amadeus Cho 20th Anniversary Special #1. So apparently, and actually this is something I did not realize, but I guess I'll have to go to Marvel Unlimited, not a sponsor. When Amadeus Cho burst onto the scene in 2005's Amazing Fantasy #15, not too far from another character who's better known and better. No one could have predicted the epic journey he'd take across the Marvel Universe, rising through the ranks of Marvel superheroes as a champion, an agent of Atlas, and even a Hulk. I liked how they put that in the backwards order. But yes, this May celebrates the one-of-a-kind breakout star Amadeus Cho and the 20th anniversary special. It's a special one-shot packed with thrilling, moving, and revelatory stories set during different stages of Amadeus's wild history. You should also, if you're not watching the video version, understand this is a Marvel article, so, you know, a little bit of hyperbole going on there. Again, like I said, the creator Greg Brock and Takeshi Miyazawa and Chris Lee and Dedrow told are all getting together, and this also is teasing some of the stories, or the stories that they are going to be talking about in this in this one shot, and therein is the cover for said one shot. Cool. If you're an Amadeus Cho fan, that's great.
Right, and it's obviously scheduled for AAPI Heritage Month in May, so you know it's obviously timed for that as well.
But of course, next up.
Alrighty. The Vision and Scarlet Witch are getting their first title together since 1985 to celebrate 50 years of their marriage. Wow.
Which is no longer a thing.
So they got married way back in 1970. What?
Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, I didn't read it firsthand, but yes, I remember reading that issue later on.
Right. So they got married in comics 50 years ago in 1975's Giant Size Avengers #4. Wow. Marvel is celebrating their golden anniversary by bringing them back together in their first shared title in 40 years since 1985's The Vision and the Scarlet Witch. No kidding. Let's see. Writer Steve Orlando and artist Lorenzo Tametta and Jacopo Carmagni, who carry over from the current volume of Scarlet Witch's solo comic book. The new title, The Vision and the Scarlet Witch, will take its name from their classic 85 series, and it will run for 5 issues. Okay.
As opposed to the 12 of the original miniseries, which I loved. I think I still have of that. Yeah, Steve Orlando is the current writer of the Scarlet Witch book, so that makes sense, because they did a similar thing with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch fairly recently as well. So cool. It'd be interesting to see what they do with this. Also, if this covers any indication, are they using blank vision again? Because I know he's gone back to. Wait, no, he hasn't gone back to near classic colors. I think he's still got the all new color scheme going on. But,
well, I was about to say, if you go to the 4th variant cover, he's in the regular colors.
Okay, so they got yeah, there you go, and that's kind of closer to the original. Actually, yeah, I think that might be an homage to the original, one of the original miniseries covers. I had to go back and look, but regardless, doesn't matter. That's cool. I'm gonna be checking that out. Wait, did you get a? Did you mention a time frame?
The Vision and Scarlet Witch #1 goes on sale May 21st.
There you go. Cool. Yeah. Next up, Spider-Man and Wolverine teaming up in their own ongoing series that ties into their secret shared history. Why? Is this the 90s over again? Why? But anyway, Spider-Man and Wolverine are 2 of Marvel's most popular characters, and now they're teaming up in an original series that pairs them in what Marvel is billing as, quote, a nonstop thrill ride. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised by this next statement, but written by Mark Guggenheim and drawn by Kari Andrews, Spider-Man and Wolverine seems to be aiming straight for what fans of the 2 characters might expect from their team-up. Big bombastic action that also ties into a, quote, mystery deeply rotten in secrets from both their pasts. So yeah, and there's a cover right there. There's a variant cover right there, I guess. Spider-Man and Wolverine goes on sale May 7th. Next up.
I'm always a sucker for these books. I know I bought it the last time it came out. I think in like 2014 or 15 or 16, something like that.
Uh-huh. I mean, I still harken back to that one when they were in Europe. or the issue that they teamed up in where they were in Europe. I think.
Right, that one shot that Priest
Yeah.
did.
Right. So I think that's where it starts and stops with me because both of them, well, Wolverine specifically got too big for his britches, popular for his britches. While I still remained with a little bit of love for Spidey
Mm.
in a way that I can't explain. So I don't know. I'll probably check this out. It's because they're you got to think they're probably going to at least talk about that again because the last time we've seen them together was fairly recently actually, because it was like a backup story in a Spider-Man thing, where they went out for a beer or something. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember where that book was, but regardless, it was something fairly recently. So, anyway, next up,
Marvel reveals a new look at Doctor Doom's Avengers in One World Under Doom. So we found, we talked about it already in One World Under Doom #1. Things happen, and Marvel has teased that the Avengers and the Fantastic Four are next to be defeated by Doom's hand, and that a new superior, always superior, superhero team will assemble in their place. Superior Avengers from writer Steve Fox and artist Luca Maresca spins out of One World Under Doom and introduces new Latvian versions of the Avengers, except these mighty heroes are assuming the guises of Marvel's villains. See them on the just released cover for Superior Avengers #2 below, which goes on sale May 11th. Wow.
Almost some sort of Secret Avengers, Dark Avengers / Thunderbolts situation going on here. That's weird.
Oh, that reminds me. I have a little bit of Toy Corner. So
Okay.
It came to mind seeing this cover.
Okay.
And you'll find out, you'll see why when I do a little bit of Toy Corner at the end of the show.
Okay, and I'm going to let me pull back to the cover that he's talking about, which is this one right here for the people in the watching the video version, which you should sometimes come check us out. Sir, I'm gonna ask you to read the next article, actually, if you don't mind.
All righty. Let's see here. Marvel announces the new era of Captain America starring Steve Rogers. Okay. Let's see here. Marvel is circling back to Captain America's awakening in the Marvel Age of Comics in an all-new Captain America #1, which is set immediately after Steve Rogers' rebirth in the pages of Avengers #4. It was announced during Marvel's Comics Pro presentation this past Thursday that writer Chip Zdarsky and artist Valerio Schiti are relaunching Captain America with a new run that promises to change how the world views Captain America forever. Again. Let's see. So the opening arc of this story takes place after Cap emerged from frozen suspended animation, but before he joined the Avengers. Yeah, there is a little bit of a gap there before he kind of agrees to join them, but there's not much. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I totally forgot about it. I forgot he did that in Zdarsky did that Invaders run from 2019, according to this article. I don't really know why I thought, I don't know who wrote it because I don't remember shit like that. But anyway, cool. So Zdarsky's on again. This article also mentions Avengers Twilight, which I think we enjoyed. So cool beans. Next up, new Batman Beyond rumor surprises DC fans. So according to a new rumor, Batman Beyond is not being revived in animated form, but will serve as the starting point for a new video game trilogy. Oh, geez, come on. Earlier this month, it was reported a new Batman game was in the works at Batman Arkham and Suicide Squad killed the Justice League studio Rocksteady Studios, which that's a good sign in itself, but I thought they were tired of doing Batman. But okay. What this Batman game is going to be, the report does not mention, but does note it is very far away. Also made them a hell of a lot of money, and I'm sure WB is pressing them on that. I'm sure. Adding to the report, a new rumor has surfaced online claiming that Rocksteady Studios and WB Games are planning a new trilogy that will adapt Batman Beyond specifically. The rumor also suggests that PlayStation may have locked down some sort of exclusivity for these games, which in turn make them PS6 and PC only and keep them off of Xbox consoles. But let's face it, folks, that's probably only going to be for X amount of time. Usually how that works. So, but yeah, these are, and also rumor at this point. So if this happens to come about, then I'm sure there are some people who like Batman Beyond will love this news. That's great. Last,
I like
not
Batman Beyond.
Huh? It was all right. Yeah. It was all right. I don't know. I didn't get to, obviously because of TAS was still kind of a thing around that time, so it was still that before that. But I know, Batman Beyond had some, well, and coming off of like Justice League also in a kind of a way. So, especially because of that one episode. But yeah, it was all right. But I feel like it wasn't my thing. It might be worth revisiting. Who even knows at this point? But last but not least.
Alrighty, a new Masters of the Universe Masterverse Panther has been revealed by Mattel. Let's see. So Panther is Skeletor's fearsome feline companion and is the evil counterpart to He-Man's Battle Cat. Let's see. So Panther has now returned as Mattel unveils their latest new Eternia Masterverse figure that comes in at 13.75 inches long with 16 points of articulation. Right into battle to take down He-Man and his allies with this impressive release that will feature a removable saddle and helmet, 2 front bracers, and a spear for Skeletor. You can get Panther at $40 with the February 11th. So this is already released. At $40 with the current release, and you can find this exclusively on Mattel Creations, the website.
For some strange reason, I'm thinking that the original version of that figure character was felt covered, and I don't know why I'm thinking that. Because I'm pretty sure the Battle Cat was not, but that was a whole other situation. Either way, hey, have at it, folks. And with that, we have come to the end of the news section, and I believe Agent 70 did just mention that he had a little bit of Toy Corner / Show and Tell, so let him, the floor is his.
Yes, I've got a little bit of Toy Corner. I'm going to drop my virtual background just so that we can talk about Toy Corner. And let's go. What's in the box? So, last week we went on Movie Protocol because we went to go see Captain America: Brave New World in the theaters, and to coincide with Brave New World, some retailers basically dug up or ordered a bunch of new ones or had some to spare. Some of them had some exclusive Captain America merchandise stashed away to basically synergize with the release of Captain America: Brave New World, for better or for worse. And you know what I mean when I say worse. So this figure was exclusive to Walmart, and I'm a New Yorker. There's no local Walmart anywhere around here. I had to order this online, right? So when I saw this online, I did a double take because I remember missing out the very first time this was released. This is, and now you understand why I was reminded of this when we saw that Superior Avengers, because I finally got my hands on the punchable Captain America, the Secret Empire Captain America. He's in stock on sale on the Walmart website. Why is this important? Because I missed out on it the first time, and they happened to put out all of their Captain America merchandise at the same time, and this one they put it out again, in conjunction with the release of the movie to try to capitalize on it. And when I saw this, I was like, wait, I never got that when it came out because it was an exclusive and I missed out on the purchasing window, the order window, right?
Right.
So guess what? I got the punchable Steve Rogers. I cannot wait to set up a little diorama with both Cap Steve Rogers and Cap Sam Wilson in the comic book versions punching the living daylights out of this version. You know, I may pull a Bucky, I may pull Bucky out, I may pull out. I don't know if I have a John Walker. I may get a John Walker just to have him punch this guy out because this is the worst version of any Captain America ever, right? So this is the guy that they got to punch out. In order to get free shipping, I needed to spend $5 more at Walmart because they suck, right? So what did I do to get $5 more? Did I order some food? Did I order some snacks? No, I didn't do that. I had found the cheapest Marvel Legend that they were selling. What was the cheapest Marvel Legend that they were selling? That I think they were selling through a secondary retailer. You know, someone who's using Walmart to sell some stuff at a cheap price. What did I get? I got the Psycho Man Fantastic Four release. You know, with the fear, doubt, and hate button box. Remember this wave? Do you know how much I got this for? I think I got this for $7.99. And that's how I got over the minimum shipping for free ship. The minimum purchase for free shipping, like $35. You know, but yeah, I was very much happy to get Secret Empire Captain America, and I'm going to set it up so that he's getting his clock cleaned by Steve and Sam and maybe Bucky and whoever else I feel like acquiring to make that happen.
D-Man.
Maybe not He-Man.
Huh. D-Man?
Oh, D-Man. D-Man. You know what's funny? That D-Man makes the character, the name of his secret identity makes an appearance in Brave New World.
Oh, wait. Did I miss that? Really? Dennis Dumphy? Is that, I believe that was his name?
Yep. Yeah, he unfortunately, spoiler alert, dies.
Wow, I totally missed that.
He's Sam's bestie military friend guy.
Oh, the dude that, oh yeah, that dude.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
I only caught it because I saw his name tag on his uniform.
Right. I totally blanked on that because I was like, anyway, it doesn't matter what I thought. It was like, damn, I totally blanked on that. Yeah, now that you say that, I do remember seeing his name tag. Damn, how did I miss that? That's pretty good catch.
Yep. So it's funny that you said D-Man. I'm like, that'd be funny if there was a D-Man Marvel Legends. Everyone would be very confused, asking why Daredevil and or Wolverine got all jacked up.
Yeah, pretty much. I was sitting here as you was talking. I was looking for I know where it came from. I'm not gonna be able to find it though. Something that just reminded me, because there is as you said, a good bit of merchandise coming out of that, and there were some shoes. I believe some Captain America kicks that came out, and of course there's the popcorn buckets and whatnot. But I was trying to find. I believe Sanford Green said something on social media. It was like, hey, this is the stuff I designed, merchandise I designed. Oh, also, Sanford Green has been on the show before, by the way. This is stuff I've designed, and it's at Walmart. So, get the stuff, but go back to boycotting Walmart afterwards, which kind of made me giggle. And I can't find the tweet or whatnot. I don't know if it's on it's probably on the Instagram, but I'm not going to check over there right now. But it was kind of amusing that case. But also,
I'm
I
not
thought
a
you was
big
gonna
fan. Not a big fan of the exclusive Target and Walmart Marvel Legends figures.
Well,
So
we know
my hope
that.
is that I can eventually track down the Warbird, Carol Danvers figure that I missed out on Target. So
Right.
so it was kind of it was kind of funny to get a second chance at Captain America Secret Empire version.
Right, right. I was going to ask you also before we push this to the end. So is there not Hydrocap version with the green suit out?
I have not seen one. I have not seen one. They might be waiting on, they might put it out eventually, but
Right.
This is this is the next closest that we've gotten.
Right. Yes, that maybe. Oh, here we go. Actually, you know what? Here we go. Hang on. I'm going to put this up for the folks on the video version. I'll do that right there real quick, and voila. There we go. So yeah, this is the merchandise that that Sanford Green designed. It's the shirts, not
You got to take the focus off me.
I did.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's just going to take its time. I haven't seen it hit the active feed yet. Oh, there it goes. I see it.
So, but yeah, that's that. And like I said, there was another tweet or something I saw that had like shoes and some other stuff as merchandise, but I don't think he was attached to those. So, but this is the thing that I remember seeing from him. So, yeah, cool beans. Anywho's, we didn't do the last ad, so let's go ahead and do the last ad read real quick.
All right, the last ad read of the night is to help us keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us and click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Remember, that is on cspn.us. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link found on cspn.us, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through CSPN.us. Do it today.
All right, folks, that's it for this week's show. We appreciate you being here. Hopefully this one will go out in a more timely manner than that last one did, which, thanks to technical difficulties, happened. But you know what? We don't dwell on the past here. Well, we do dwell on the past here. The past in comic books, after all. We'll be back next week. More stuff. Well, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man's gone, so we still got some Invincible to do as we get ready for Daredevil Born Again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, just 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's a soundbite you need. But anyway, folks, I have been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter. You can find me at News Knows Need on Twitter. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. You can also find me at Roddykat on Blue Sky. Agent_70 on all of those places. Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, all of that. You can find the show on the Cold Filter Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us.
Do it today.
Also, Comic Book Chronicles is on Blue Sky. Comic Book Chronicles. You don't look us up by name, not that other place, that other thing. But you can also find us recording every Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube channel of The Kliq Nation. That's youtube.com/The Kliq Nation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles. And I lost my train of thought. Hit it.
All right, make sure to click like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you know when we're on live.
Yeah, I was going to mention something about what Twitch is doing, but it affects everybody, and it's not just us. So it's going to have to figure something out on. There's nothing to figure out what to do about that. But with that, folks, we're going to push out of here and say that this has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace, one. And we're going to replay this particular bit right now.
And knowing is half the battle.
Oops.